一年一度的夏季达沃斯论坛在中国大连举行，今年的主题是规模化创新。如何理解这一主题？中国在其中又扮演了什么样的角色？深圳卫视执新闻特派记者在会场专访了世界经济论坛执行董事塞巴斯蒂安·巴克普。巴克普对中国领导人在开幕全会上的讲话印象深刻，认为这对于外界理解中国发展路径和方向十分重要。
What resonated with me personally was really his focus on China Opportunity 2.0, highlighting the shift from made in China to created in China, and of course highlighting in that regard the enormous innovation potential and innovation ambition in China. So it sent an important signal for collaboration, and I think it also resonated in the context of the theme of the meeting, which is scaling innovation. So the Premier really laid out what it means to scale innovation and also the role China has to scale innovation and the offer of China to the world to scale innovation together.
We have a discussion tomorrow about the 15th five-year plan in China. So from your perspective, your own perspective, which industry do you think will have the strongest growth potential over the next 5 to 10 years in China?
The focus that's bringing me to this meeting is decarbonization, the broader environmental agenda. And the whole green industry and clean tech industry is, of course, one of the big areas of focus. What we are seeing is that China is really leading when it comes to the integration of environmental policies into industrial policies. Of course, there's also an environmental code being launched. And in that regard, China plays a big role in taking the environmental discussion from discussion mostly happening in the policy space to really a market-driven transformation. And as a result, globally, a massive drop in the price for things like wind energy and solar energy. I mean, these industries have grown significantly. Electric mobility, the whole redefining of the vehicle as a software platform.
As I spoke to the business leader these days about the green energy industries in China, the most important word mentioned is opportunity. They want to collaborate more in the future. But back to the Europe, their altitude seems a little bit slightly different because a lot of companies back in Europe, they think they should think it's China Shock 2.0. So what's your opinion about that?
Well, Premier Li, I think he tried to highlight exactly that difference. He contrasted that notion of China Shock 2.0 with the notion of China Opportunity 2.0. In the end, we are living, and that is oftentimes good for business, we are living in a world of strategic competition, right? So I think what we are seeing at the moment is that European leaders are, of course, looking to China also to learn about how to scale electric mobility. I think there is a lot of acceptance sinking in that China really has a leg up in the competition when it comes to electric mobility. The message of Premier Li was, let's work together, let's partner, let's learn from each other, and let's scale innovation ultimately for the benefit of people.
We have a lot of discussion about AI in this meeting right now. I think it's really interesting. And I found one of the forum that talk about, because each country wants to safeguard our own national interest. So how can we collaborate in AI under the situation?
AI investment around the world is absolutely peaking. We are still waiting to see at a broader scale the productivity benefits. So some of the jitters we see in markets also yesterday and today when it comes to chip makers, AI companies, is a reflection of us trying to come to terms. Are we spending? What are the returns to this spend? So there's clearly a competitive dimension to that. But then what Premier Li also highlighted in his speech today, there are shared concerns. We have to make sure that AI applications are safe. We have to make sure they're well governed. And these are spaces that are not competitive. These are spaces where the world needs to work together. So if you ask me, there are really two areas where there are big opportunities for collaboration. One of these areas is the governance of artificial intelligence. And then the other area of opportunity for collaboration is climate and nature. So whatever boundary we push, be it markets, institutions, that's fine. Yeah. But that one other boundary we cannot push, which is the living space we're in.
巴克普除了长期关注绿色增长与全球治理议题，作为世界经济论坛执行董事，他主要负责青年网络与未来领导力体系建设。
I know a lot of Chinese audience, like they're from enterprises, they're businessmen, they pay fully attention on the World Economic Forum, but not all the young Chinese audience are paying attention on it. So how would you promote to them? What are you doing in the World Economic Forum? And what does it mean for the young audience in the future?
Yeah, so what I can say is we have 60 young people here under the age of 30 from 60 different locations and cities around the world. Before they came to this meeting, they spent 3 days with the Dalian Hub. The dialogue is not an end in and of itself. Dialogue is important because it leads to understanding,
Right.
and understanding leads to collaboration. And that's why we also want to bring young people here. It's about dialogue, it's about understanding, and then hopefully it's about collaboration.
As we all know, the APEC summit is going to held in Shenzhen this year. So Davos is often where ideas are shaped, and APEC is more like policy coordination among governments. So what are the key issues that are being discussed at Davos that you like to carry out to the APEC and to turn into more concrete action?
If I look again at the green and the environmental agenda, when I look at global cooperation in general, it is getting more and more difficult to find frameworks the world is agreeing on. Right? If I look at the plastic treaty that failed last year. So more and more agreements are going to happen at a regional level, and APEC is bringing together a number of really, really important countries. When it comes specifically to the role of China, or even more specifically the role of Shenzhen as an innovation hub, China will play a big role in leading the green tech agenda also in this region. And summits such as those are really, really helpful in that regard. There will be a development of this agenda from being a multilateral, even a regional policy agenda towards a market agenda. And this meeting will also hopefully play a role in that.